I'm pretty sure this is rage bait, but we still have to go over this. So here we have a tweet that went viral by the Sherlin Bay, whatever her name is, right? And this is her opinion on what men should do if they find out that their kid isn't really theirs. This is her opinion. This is her tweet. She says, if you ever find out your kids aren't yours, I think you should keep such information away from these kids and continue your fatherly duty. These kids grew up knowing you as their father. Now imagine how traumatizing it is, how traumatizing it would be for the kids when you boldly face them to tell them you're not their father or call them bastard. You can divorce your wife or something, but do not involve the innocent kids. Give them other reasons why you're divorcing. A child should never find out you are not the father, especially a grown-up one. You're basically destroying that child's life by doing so. It's the mother who faulted, not the innocent kid. After fathering a child for so many years and you later find out they're not yours, you should continue with the relationship, sort things out with your wife privately, and move on with your family. She goes, an exception to this is only if you detected when the child is still a toddler. Oh Lord. The things that I could say about this tweet, and I want you to notice something before I even give you my opinion, and even people should already know my opinion on this. I want you to notice this is her Twitter page. This is her Twitter page, right? She's from the UK. I want you to notice something. It says, I love my cat. So this is a cat lady, a childless cat lady, speaking on what a married man should do. And then on top of that, if you notice her page, you'll start to catch the drift that she is West African. Now, West African women are notorious for paternity fraud. They have one of the worst paternity frauds. I think if I'm not mistaken, specifically Nigeria, they have like a 60% 60% paternity fraud rate where the father gets tested and he's not the kid 60% of the time. Like their paternity fraud rate is atrocious over there. So there's a lot of people that say stuff about American black women, but African women are no better, particularly West African women. They are notorious for doing this too. And I'm talking about unashamedly doing this. At least black American women, they have the decency to know he cannot find out that I did this to him. The West African women, they don't even care. They'll just do it, and when you corner them on it, they'll just act like so. They're like they'll unashamedly do that to you. This is a very common thing that a lot of people are starting to figure out about, particularly when we talk about Nigerians, Nigerian women, West Ghanaian, Ghanaian women in general. If you look at their paternity fraud rates, it's atrocious. It really should be an eye opener. Now, I say all of this to say, right? I want men to understand this. Men, you need to do a paternity test on all your kids. If you plan on having kids in the future, I don't care if you're married or unmarried. Obviously, if you're unmarried, you should be doing paternity tests. Obviously. But even if you're married, every kid must do a paternity test. And if you actually want to test if the woman you have is a good woman or not, give her a prenup. And in the prenup, give her everything. Meaning, you can literally have the freedom to do whatever you want. You can divorce me anytime, blah, blah, blah. Literally give her the best deal and just add one amendum. Just put every kid that I have will be paternity tested. If she doesn't take that deal, you already know what you're dealing with, because you're literally giving her the perfect deal. All she has to do is not cheat, or all she has to do is to make sure the kid that she's giving birth to is yours. You would think it's the easiest thing, but I'm telling you, you can give women that perfect. I'm talking about you say, if I divorce, and put alimony, you can put me on alimony. Child support, like obviously child support is, you can't negotiate child support on prenups, but you can literally say, yep, you can have the house. You can literally say you can have everything of mine in the prenup, just with one amendum. Every kid that I have must be paternity tested. Every single kid. You'll be surprised if you give most women that deal. Most women won't take it. They won't take that deal. You'd be shocked because you'd think it's the perfect. Oh, all she could literally just divorce me the next day with this deal, and I'm fucked. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked because the if a faithful woman or a woman that has common sense, she'll look at this like, oh, this is this is easy. So men, I hope because especially when it comes to West African women, they are very unapologetic from what I've seen about them literally openly cucking their husbands. So much so that they even have men saying, "Look, even if the kid is not mine, I'll still take." And it's like, what? And these are the people that make fun of incels and all this stuff. That's a whole other story. But anyways, it's interesting when you talk about mandatory paternity tests and the pushback it gets. And then from women like this, they'll push back on this whole mandatory paternity test, but then they'll say something like this, what she said, where you got to still take care of the kid and not tell the kid. Now, the irony of this is if a man was cheating on his wife and he left and you quote unquote divorce amicably, or if the man leaves his wife for another woman, he starts another family and he leaves amicably, she's going to be, trust me, the man is not going to tell the kids. The wife is going to tell the kids, be the first one to tell the kids, your father abandoned you guys for another family. She'll be the first one to say that to the to the kids. He's not even going to have to say that. So I find it ironic now when something like this happens, the ultimate betrayal, we're not allowed to tell the kids. Now we gotta, we need to, man, anytime a man has even if it's like, even if the woman initiated the divorce and then the dad moves on and gets with another family, she'll be the first one. The ex-wife will be the first one to talk about, oh, your dad left you guys for another family. They'll be the first one to do that, poisoning the kid's mind, openly alienating the kids against the father. You know how many kids have come back and they'd be like, wow, I thought my dad was this and that, and then I went to therapy, and then I started questioning my mom, and then I actually met my dad, and I found out she basically lied about all this. So it's ironic now that with the ultimate betrayal like this, they want the father to keep quiet about this. He needs to, and to just keep doing your duties. Just keep paying. Wow, that I find ironic because I know good and damn well. If this lady had a man and the man left her and her kid for another family, she'll be the first one telling the kid that she did that. Now, back in the day, the old school women, they wouldn't do that. They would just act like things didn't work out. Now, what these new women, they want you to do, they want you to keep this a secret, but then at the same time talk crazy about the dad when he's not in the picture, when they most likely pushed him away. So this is very interesting. So I want to read some of the comments. It says paternity test. This is from a woman, by the way. This is from a woman. She says paternity test should be required by law at the hospital after the baby is born. And this is why like, you'll even have men that'll be against this, which is interesting. And I keep telling you, the woman that actually agree with you on that about mandatory paternity test, I keep telling you, you're not going to be able to track it by a group of women, by white women want that more, or black women want that more. It's just women with some kind of morality or some kind of fairness. just let's if we can at least be congruent, right? If we could be fair, why isn't the man allowed to know? It should already. So this is why I always respect women that will come out and say, yeah, paternity test should be required. I don't care all the other stuff about submissiveness and blah, whatever. What do you? I always ask people talk about how can you tell if it's a good woman or not? Ask them what they think about paternity tests. Just ask. You know what I mean? And the answer that you get is going to tell you everything that you know. Because it's pretty obvious that it should be required. A man should have a right to know, especially with the technology that we have now. Now men can find out if the kid that he has is his. And you'll have many women push back. You'll even have conservative men push back all this. And you'll be like, wow. Anyways, let's look at some of her replies. You're gonna see some excuses. But what happens, especially I'll say to a lot of women that are pro paternity tests, what's beautiful about this is they'll find out that their mom or whatever lied to them about their father, and it just devastates the whole family. And you're just like, bruh. Or because just this thing, what happens is a lot of babies get swapped in a hospital. So you'll take a paternity test and you'll find out that both the mother and the father are not DNA related. I mean, sorry, like you'll find out both the mother's not the mother and the father's not the father of the kid, and that's because the kid was swapped from the hospital. So you could literally decrease that if you do that. And if you actually talk to women about this, they'll be like, "Oh, that does make sense. I don't want that to happen to me." So that's the beautiful thing about mentioning these scenarios. You could actually get a woman. You could actually scare a woman enough to be like, "Well, what if you get swapped? So you can at least get what you want. So you can at least it's a fair trade. It's a fair trade. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about that. So you see, I have a woman said she said, "I will die on this hill." Beautiful, beautiful. They said, "Agreed, married or not." Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful. Uh-oh. You got a woman here coming up with an excuse. Uh-oh. Oh, we got another excuse. He said, "Never at the hospital. Take that outside. We don't need chaos in the unit. Too many innocent nurses get caught up in this." Nah, I don't give a we stop it. No, 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 no. They always got these excuses. Yeah, a lot because a lot of women have been trying. They've been really trying to come up with excuses, so like creative excuses on, oh, if my man asks for DNA tests, I'm gonna do it and then ask for divorce right after. You're just like, that's gaslighting. You're not even giving him a chance. So if he doesn't do it, you're not gonna divorce him. But if he does do it, that's come on, what's it, coercion? If the man said, "Hey, if you do this abortion or not, whatever, I'm gonna divorce you," there would be marches against that man for coercion. That's funny. Somebody said, if you ever find out your man has been cheating on you for 5 to 10 years and have a second family, you should just continue being his side piece in peace. After all, it's not his wife or children's fault. You should just continue carrying out the duties you agree to. Till death do you part. So what this man is doing, he's just basically reversing the roles. Because if you ever told this, no, sorry, when Corey, that's basically Corey Holcomb's whole shtick when he's on stage. So when he'll say stuff like this, and women will be like, "Oh, this is outrageous." And then a woman will turn around and say this, but the exact opposite way, and they don't even realize the cognitive dissonance on this. Somebody replied, "Why is she in a man's business?" Facts. Somebody said, "F out of here." They said, "Women like this are a big red flag. No accountability for your actions. Let that man decide what he wants." Like I said, it's like somebody said, "Boy, y'all don't really know what accountability is." Facts. Yeah, like they always talking about what think about the kids. I'm like, but you didn't think about the kids when you was stepping out on me, right? But I got to think about the kids when the results, sorry, when the consequences of your actions come. Come on, come on now. He said, so the mom cheated and somehow the father is made the villain. Yep, that's how it works, guys. Oh man. Here we got a woman here. She says, unpopular opinion. A woman who knows her body knows exactly who she slid with. And when she turned up pregnant, pretending that you didn't know for years is BS. You been new. And if there was any doubt, it should have been addressed at birth. That probably goes in the top 3 of worst things to do to a man. That pain just seems indescribable. A woman who can sit there and allow a man to bond and financially support a child that isn't theirs. You can tell her everything but but a child of God. That man needs to walk to protect his peace and stay out of jail. Facts. Facts. And because that's why I always say there's no excuses when it comes, because there's plenty of women that understand they did a man should be allowed to have a paternity test without no problems. Because I've heard women say stuff like this, and it's clear that they know, they understand this is foul. They know, they know well enough that this is foul. Especially, I've seen plenty of women that say, right here, you see another woman says paternity tests need to be the law, period. So women, like, there's plenty of women that know that it should be mandatory. But when I see the pushback, I'm like, oh, I see what's going on. I see what's going on. There's a lot more women cheating out there than we want to admit. And I'll say this: sometimes what ends up happening is because you'll have a girl, she's juggling 2 or 3 dudes at the same time. Then she shows up pregnant, and then basically she'll be like, okay, who's the most financially responsible one? And then she'll do that. And because the 3 other dudes that she's messing with are she has a type, they're very similar type people, but with different professions and different backgrounds. She's just gonna go with the more responsible ones because once the child comes out, is probably going to look like him because she has a certain type. So women are very they know these things. They know these things. Don't ever let a woman gaslight you into not taking a paternity test. It really shouldn't be a problem unless she has something to hide. Bottom line. Bottom line. And then before I even sign off, I have to now start thinking about in the past. You know how in the past people will talk about, oh, back in the day, men would just leave their families like right after the kid is born. But now or all of us, you'll hear, oh, after the kid was born, he developed a drinking problem and he became a raging drunk. Now I have to think, because back in the day, we talking about the early 1900s, whatever, 1950s, 1960s, they didn't have this technology where you could do a paternity test. So, but now what ends up happening? Imagine if you're a man back in the day, right? Prehistoric times or whatever times, and or 1800s, whatever, 1700s, early 1900s, and you have your woman. She says she's pregnant. You drop everything to take care of this kid. The kid gets born, but 2 years later, you're looking at that kid and you're like, this kid is just coming out, and like I said, because they don't have paternity tests, he becomes an alcoholic, right? Because he's it's almost drinking away the pain, because he's like, this, I don't think this kid is mine. And it ends up messing with his mental health. I don't know why. Where are the therapists? like I said, why don't the therapists address situations like that? They would never think. They would never think about it. They just, oh man, we're just abusive, and they would just. Or you'll have a dude back in the day. He knocks a chick up, and then 6 months later, or he's literally looking at that kid. He's like, I don't think that's my kid, but he doesn't want to say it because he might feel trapped. And if he feels that way enough, now, like I said, maybe he's wrong in his assumptions. But like I said, there was no way to know. There was no way to know back in the day. So that man would just be stuck. That messes with people's mental health. This is why men would just go out and find another, just knock up another chick and take care of that family better than this one, because he thinks that's not even his kid, but he doesn't want to say anything, or because of his pride. And then on top of that, you'll have that man that has a drinking problem, and really nobody wants to address the fact, but he's looking at that kid and he doesn't see himself in that kid. Where are the therapists? Where are you spiritual health healers and all this stuff? Where are you guys?